The golden age of Hollywood brought us stars who seemed to have it all: fame, fortune, and the admiration of millions. But behind the glamorous facade, beloved icons like Judy Garland and Errol Flynn faced heartbreaking struggles that ultimately left them in poverty. In this video, we're sharing the poignant stories of these legendary figures, whose immense talent and popularity couldn't shield them from hardship. Their lives reveal the hidden challenges behind Hollywood's bright lights, reminding us just how fleeting success can be and how heavy the cost of fame sometimes is. So make sure to stick around, hit that like button, and subscribe for more incredible stories from the world of entertainment. Joe Louis. During his prime as one of America's most celebrated boxers in the 1930s and 40s, Joe Louis earned a fortune that few could imagine. But, as described in his New York Times obituary, it passed through his fingers quickly, and without the sort of accounting that the Internal Revenue Service expects. A lavish lifestyle and lack of financial guidance left him with staggering debt. When Louis retired from boxing in 1951, he faced a crushing reality. He owed the IRS $1.25 million, a debt he could never shake before his death in 1981. Eventually, even the IRS conceded defeat. In 1965, IRS Commissioner Dana Latham told Congress, "We have gotten all we could possibly get from Mr. Louis, leaving him with some hope that he can live, acknowledging that Louis's earning days are over." By 1974, Louis took a job as a greeter at Caesar's Palace, hoping to make ends meet, but the modest income barely covered his growing medical bills. Over the years, he battled heart issues, emotional struggles, and strokes. When he passed away, his third wife, Martha, was left in desperate financial need. A 1989 report from the Chicago Tribune highlighted her hardships. She couldn't afford a wheelchair despite mobility issues, nor did she have the means to get dentures or new glasses. It was a tragic end to the life of a legend. Rosco "Fatty" Arbuckle. In Hollywood's early years, Rosco "Fatty" Arbuckle wasn't just a top movie star. He was a mentor to legends like Charlie Chaplin, Bob Hope, and Buster Keaton. Arbuckle was adored worldwide, reaching a level of fame that was almost unmatched. However, in 1921, everything fell apart when he was accused of raping actress Virginia Rappe. The case dominated the headlines and sparked an intense smear campaign in the press. After 2 mistrials and a final trial where he was fully acquitted, the legal battles ended, but the damage was already done. Arbuckle's reputation was shattered, his career came to a halt, and he lost much of his fortune. By the early 1930s, Arbuckle started to rebuild, working under the pseudonym William Goodrich to gradually re-establish himself in the industry. His hard work seemed to pay off when he signed a 3-film deal with Warner Brothers, offering him the chance at a real comeback. Just days after this major breakthrough, on the very day he and his third wife, Addie McPhail, celebrated their first wedding anniversary, Arbuckle passed away from a heart attack in his sleep at the Park Central Hotel in New York City. He was only 46. That final night, Arbuckle was reportedly filled with hope, toasting to his new opportunities and sharing his excitement with Addie. He told her, "This is the best day of my life." His sudden death marked a heartbreaking end to a life and career that had once held so much promise. After years in the shadows of scandal, he was finally poised for redemption, but fate intervened before he could reclaim his place in Hollywood. Mabel Normand. From 1910 to 1920, Mabel Normand was Hollywood's shining star, celebrated as the most beloved female movie star of her era. Audiences couldn't get enough of her as she starred in countless hits, often alongside legends like Charlie Chaplin in 12 films and Rosco "Fatty" Arbuckle in 17. Her name alone could draw crowds to theaters. But her life took a tragic turn in 1922 when her lover, director William Desmond Taylor, was found mysteriously murdered. Although Normand was cleared of any involvement, the scandal cast a dark shadow over her name. Just 2 years later, another controversy struck. Normand's chauffeur shot and killed her friend, Cortland S. Dines, right in her presence. This second scandal further tarnished her reputation, and Hollywood studios began to distance themselves from her. By the time Normand passed away in 1930 from tuberculosis at just 37, her life was a far cry from her days of fame. She had fallen from the heights of stardom, with her fortune and career both faded. Though she left a lasting impact on the film industry, her legacy was marred by scandal. turning what should have been a joyful memory into one marked by sadness and loss. Judy Garland. Judy Garland dazzled audiences with unforgettable roles in The Wizard of Oz and Meet Me in St. Louis. But behind the glamour, her life was marked by hardship. For years, she battled a dependence on drugs, and trusted managers embezzled a large portion of her fortune, leaving her in dire financial straits. Eventually, she was forced to sell her beloved Bel Air home at a fraction of its worth as debts piled up. When Garland passed away in 1969 from an accidental overdose at only 47, her financial situation was tragic. Despite once earning as much as $55,000 a week, she owed substantial amounts to creditors, including thousands to the IRS. By the time of her death, reports estimate her debt at around $4 million. A heartbreaking reality for a woman who had once been Hollywood royalty, beloved by millions but left with little to show for a lifetime of work. Her story is a reminder of how fame and fortune don't always shield stars from life's struggles, and how even the brightest lights can be dimmed by personal battles. Whitney Houston, the six-time Grammy-winning icon, whose powerful voice reshaped pop and R&B, tragically passed away at just 48, leaving behind an estate weighed down by debt. Even after a groundbreaking $100 million deal with Arista Records in 2001, her financial troubles grew due to high living costs, waning album sales in later years, and her well-known battles with addiction. By the time of her passing in 2012, her debts were estimated to be around $20 million. Ironically, her legacy has since become a profitable venture. Her heirs secured a $14 million partnership with Primary Wave, a music publishing and talent agency which now manages her catalog and image. Additional collaborations have brought her memory to new audiences, with items like a Funko Pop figurine, a fragrance line, and a limited edition makeup collection. These ventures have transformed her estate into a multi-million-dollar brand, keeping her memory alive through streaming, licensing, and merchandise deals that continue to bring in millions every year. Frances Farmer. In the 1930s and early 40s, Frances Farmer was a celebrated star in Hollywood, admired for both her stunning beauty and remarkable talent. She was in high demand from studios, and her future seemed bright. However, everything changed in 1942 when she began to experience serious troubles. Following a series of alarming incidents that caught the attention of law enforcement, she was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and committed to a mental institution. Just a year after her first hospitalization, Farmer was recommitted for an extended stay. In her autobiography, she shared chilling accounts of the extreme mistreatment she faced during her time in the hospital, including brutal beatings and even sexual assaults. These harrowing experiences were a far cry from the glamorous life she once knew. After her release, Farmer hoped to revive her acting career in the late 1950s, but her efforts were met with disappointment and failed to gain any real momentum. In the mid-1960s, she tried to start her own business, but her dreams were dashed when all her funds were embezzled, leaving her with nothing. When Frances Farmer passed away in 1970, she was completely broke, marking a tragic end to a once promising career. Her story remains a poignant reminder of the struggles faced by individuals battling mental health issues, particularly in an era that lacked understanding and compassion. Sammy Davis Jr. When Rat Pack legend Sammy Davis Jr. passed away in 1990, he left his family with an overwhelming $7 million tax debt. His widow, Alta Weiss, faced the daunting task of settling his financial troubles, forced to sell their beloved mansion and almost all of his personal belongings. Even with these sacrifices, it wasn't until 1997 that the debt was finally cleared. Davis's life insurance provided Alta Weiss with $2 million, yet this wasn't enough to shield her from hardship. By 2008, just a year before her own passing, she still owed $2.7 million to the state of Florida and was reportedly living in severe poverty. She was confined to a tiny apartment plagued with roaches and lacking a refrigerator, sometimes even gathering bottles from dumpsters to make ends meet. Despite his own struggles with debt, Davis had at least managed to set aside some financial support for his children. Each of his 3 adult children received $500,000 from his life insurance, giving them a foundation to rely on even amid the challenges he left behind. Omar Sharie. Omar Sharie is a legendary actor best known for his unforgettable performances in classic films like Dr. Zhivago and Lawrence of Arabia. Despite his remarkable talent, he famously stepped back from acting later in his career, feeling disillusioned by the roles offered to him. Beyond his film achievements, Sharie was also a celebrated bridge player, often taking breaks from acting to indulge in his passion for the game. However, he struggled with compulsive gambling, frequently found in casinos around the world. At one point, Sharie faced a devastating loss, losing $750,000 in a single night of roulette. This financial blow was so severe that he vowed never to play the game again. It forced him to sell his home, leaving him to live in hotels, which took a significant toll on his finances. During this difficult time, Sharie reflected on his situation, saying, "I'm all alone and completely broke. I don't own anything at all apart from a few clothes." Despite these challenges, his legacy as a talented actor and skilled bridge player continues to shine brightly. Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner was celebrated as one of the American Film Institute's 25 greatest female stars of classic Hollywood cinema, and was a leading figure in the film industry from the 1940s through the 1970s. She is perhaps best remembered for her captivating performance in Mogambo, which earned her an Academy Award nomination. Throughout her illustrious career, Gardner starred in numerous blockbuster films, becoming a household name in the process. Her personal life was just as colorful as her on-screen roles. She had high-profile marriages to notable figures like Mickey Rooney, Artie Shaw, and Frank Sinatra, and shared a close friendship with literary icon Ernest Hemingway. Despite her success in acting, the story of her finances is a bit of a mystery. It remains unclear what ultimately happened to her considerable earnings. In her later years, Gardner settled in Spain, where she faced significant health challenges. Even after her divorce from Sinatra, he continued to generously cover most of her medical expenses. While she was confined to her bed, Gardner contemplated writing her memoirs as a way to secure some income, famously quipping, "I either write the book or sell the jewels, and I'm kinda sentimental about the jewels." Ultimately, she never completed her autobiography, and many believe that Sinatra may have been providing her with the financial support she needed. When she passed away, it became clear that she had very little left to her name, highlighting a poignant chapter in the life of a woman who once shone so brightly in the spotlight. Ed Wood. Although Ed Wood is a well-known name today, his reputation during his lifetime was far from favorable. In the 1950s, he was often ridiculed for his films and labeled one of the worst directors in cinematic history. Wood didn't just direct, he also acted in many of his projects, which added to his notoriety. Interestingly, it was the low quality of his films that eventually garnered him a devoted cult following, with fans believing that he significantly contributed to the contemporary appreciation for "so bad it's good" movies. However, despite this later recognition, Wood struggled to make ends meet. By 1978, he was battling severe depression, and he and his wife faced eviction from their apartment. As they sank deeper into alcoholism and financial ruin, they were forced to move in with a friend. Tragically, just 3 days after this move, Ed Wood passed away from a heart attack. His life serves as a poignant reminder of the often harsh realities faced by artists, even those who ultimately achieve cult status after their passing. Veronica Lake. Today, the name Veronica Lake might not ring a bell for many, but she was once one of the biggest stars in the world during the 1940s. Lake gained fame for her unforgettable performance in Sullivan's Travels, a classic film that shares strong connections with the Coen brothers' later work, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? At the height of her career, she was celebrated as a major sex symbol, and her iconic peekaboo hairstyle became a trend that many still emulate today. However, as the decade wore on, Lake's career began to decline sharply. Struggles with alcoholism and dissatisfaction with her film roles led her to step away from acting almost entirely. In the 1950s, she appeared in just one film, signaling her retreat from the industry. By the 1970s, rumors began to circulate about her financial difficulties, prompting fans to send her money in an effort to help. Lake eventually clarified that she wasn't entirely broke. Rather, she explained that her low rent made her situation manageable, suggesting her finances were more complicated than they appeared. Tragically, when she passed away in 1973, she had little to her name. Lake's story serves as a poignant reminder of the fleeting nature of fame and the personal battles that can overshadow a once thriving career. Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi is often hailed as one of the greatest legends in horror film history, but his story also serves as a cautionary tale about the pitfalls of being typecast. He first captivated audiences as Dracula on Broadway in 1927 and reprised the role in the iconic 1931 film, which catapulted him to fame. However, after that initial success, he found himself largely confined to similar roles for the rest of his career. His distinctive thick accent and brooding presence made him a perfect fit for horror films, yet he grew increasingly frustrated with the limited range of characters available to him and the often secondary status he held in the industry. As his once stellar career began to fade, Lugosi became known for his roles in B-movies, particularly those directed by the notorious Ed Wood. This challenging period was compounded by his struggles with drug dependency, notably on morphine and methadone. Tragically, he died in poverty, but Lugosi's legacy lives on among horror fans, securing his place in cinematic history as a figure who defined an era of horror and continues to inspire filmmakers and audiences alike. Anita Ekberg. Anita Ekberg may not be a name that many recognize today, but she was once the leading lady in what is often considered the most iconic Italian film ever made, Federico Fellini's La Dolce Vita. After being crowned Miss Sweden and finishing as a finalist in the Miss Universe pageant, Ekberg became a prominent figure in the entertainment industry during her heyday. She often reflected on her career, admitting that it might have reached even greater heights had she prioritized her work over her love for socializing. In 2011, Ekberg faced a significant setback when she fell and broke her hip, resulting in a 3-month hospitalization. During her recovery, tragedy struck again when her home was robbed, leading to the loss of all her furniture and jewelry. To make matters worse, a fire caused additional damage to her residence. In her time of need, she reached out to the Fellini Foundation for financial assistance. But unfortunately, the organization was also struggling and couldn't provide substantial help. Anita Ekberg ultimately passed away in poverty, a stark contrast to the glamour and success she once enjoyed in her illustrious career. Corey Haim. Corey Haim and Cory Feldman often find themselves the target of ridicule when discussing the decline of their careers, but it's essential to recognize the talent and impact these two actors had during their heyday. In the 1980s, they weren't just teen idols, they were among Hollywood's most prominent film stars. Haim, in particular, became well known for his standout performances in beloved films like Lucas, License to Drive, and the cult classic The Lost Boys. Unfortunately, fame came with its challenges. Haim was introduced to a lifestyle of drugs at a young age, which ultimately led to significant addiction issues and financial struggles as his acting career began to decline. It's a common misconception that he died from a drug overdose. In reality, Haim passed away from pneumonia. Toxicology reports indicated that the levels of drugs in his system were so low that they could not have contributed to his death. Tragically, Haim's financial situation was dire in the wake of his struggles, leading his family to seek donations to cover the costs of his funeral. His story is a poignant reminder of the harsh realities that young stars often face in the entertainment industry and the lasting impact of their early fame. Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney, one of the last surviving actors from the silent film era, had a remarkable journey in Hollywood, evolving from a beloved child star to a film legend. He achieved immense fame in the 1930s and 1940s, captivating audiences with his charm and talent. Even later in his career, he made a significant impact with memorable performances in Breakfast at Tiffany's and The Black Stallion, proving that his talent had lasting power. However, in his final years, Rooney's financial reality was far from the success one might expect for an actor of his stature. Instead of enjoying a comfortable retirement with the multi-million-dollar fortune he once had, he found himself in a precarious situation. Reports indicate that he had to sell most of his belongings and was involved in a troubling relationship that included allegations of physical abuse. Compounding these challenges, his finances were mismanaged by family members, leading to further difficulties. When Rooney passed away in 2014 at the age of 93, he had only $18,000 to his name, a stark contrast to the legendary career he had built. His story serves as a powerful reminder of the vulnerabilities and challenges that can accompany fame, illustrating that even the brightest stars can face significant struggles in their personal lives. If this video resonated with you, please take a moment to like and subscribe for more captivating content about the stars of yesterday and their incredible journeys. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Who was your favorite star from this era, and what do you think contributed to their tragic endings? Thank you for watching, and until next time, let's keep the memories of these legends alive.
Hollywood has always been a place of glitz, glamour, and fame, but behind the red carpets and flashing cameras, there's a darker side, one filled with the pressures of success, substance abuse, and personal battles. In today's video, we're diving into the 25 most shocking celebrity drug addictions in Hollywood history. You won't believe how some of these stars have transformed over the years, whether they've turned their lives around or tragically succumbed to their demons. Before we get into it, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our deep dives into Hollywood's most compelling stories. 1. David O. Selnik. David O. Selnik, the legendary producer behind cinematic masterpieces like Gone with the Wind and Rebecca, grappled with significant personal challenges, particularly his struggles with amphetamine addiction during the 1930s and 1940s. In an era when the pressure to deliver blockbuster films was at its peak, Selnik found himself in a relentless race against time, constantly striving to outdo his previous successes. To cope with the overwhelming demands of Hollywood, he turned to Benzedrine, a popular stimulant at the time, to enhance his creativity and maintain high energy levels. Initially, the drug appeared to serve its purpose, fueling Selznik's remarkable output and creative vision. However, as his reliance on Benzedrine deepened, the adverse effects became increasingly apparent. Selznik's health began to decline as he experienced chronic insomnia, leaving him exhausted and unable to function effectively. Paranoia set in, clouding his judgment and straining his professional relationships. This mental deterioration spiraled into severe depression, isolating him from friends, family, and colleagues who once admired him. Selznik's addiction did not merely impact his personal well-being, it began to interfere with his career. The pressures of producing films like Gone with the Wind, which required immense oversight and dedication, became increasingly burdensome as his creativity waned under the weight of his addiction. Despite the legendary status of his films, Selznik's struggle with drugs would mark one of the earliest drug addiction scandals in Hollywood, shining a light on the often hidden battles faced by those in the entertainment industry. His story serves as a cautionary tale, illustrating the toll of success and the darker side of the glitz and glamour that surrounded the golden age of Hollywood. 2. Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. is often hailed as one of Hollywood's most remarkable comeback stories. During the late 1990s and early 2000s, he became more infamous for his struggles with addiction than for his impressive acting talent. Battling severe cocaine and heroin addictions, Downey faced numerous legal troubles, including multiple drug arrests, stints in rehabilitation facilities, and even jail time. His erratic behavior and repeated relapses threatened to derail his career entirely, pushing him to the brink of the Hollywood blacklist. However, everything changed in 2008 when Downey was cast as Tony Stark in Iron Man. This role marked a pivotal moment in his life and career, not only reinvigorating his status as an actor, but also showcasing his immense talent and charisma. With the support of friends, family, and a dedicated team, Downey committed to his recovery, demonstrating resilience and determination that inspired many. His transformation from a troubled star into one of the most beloved and successful actors in the industry is nothing short of miraculous. Downey's story serves as a powerful reminder that recovery is possible even for those facing seemingly insurmountable challenges. His journey resonates with many, highlighting the importance of support systems and the capacity for change, ultimately proving that it's never too late to rewrite one's narrative. 3. Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid, known for his charming smile and leading man charisma, has faced significant personal challenges, particularly a dangerous cocaine addiction that plagued him during the 1980s. At that time, Quaid openly admitted to using cocaine almost daily, describing a Hollywood culture where drug use was not only normalized but often encouraged among its elite. This environment created a breeding ground for addiction, and Quaid found himself ensnared in its grip, leading to both professional setbacks and personal turmoil. As his addiction worsened, Quaid's career began to falter, affecting his relationships and diminishing his opportunities in the industry. It wasn't until he hit rock bottom that he recognized the need for change. Seeking treatment, he began the difficult journey toward recovery, a decision that would ultimately reshape his life. Today, Dennis Quaid is candid about his past struggles with addiction, often sharing his story to raise awareness and inspire others facing similar challenges. His willingness to discuss his journey not only highlights the importance of recovery, but also serves as a testament to resilience and the possibility of redemption. By using his experiences to help others, Quaid has transformed his personal battle into a message of hope, proving that it's possible to overcome even the most daunting obstacles. 4. Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars, often seen as one of the cleanest and most talented pop stars in the music industry, experienced a significant brush with drug addiction that challenged his squeaky clean image. In 2010, he was arrested in Las Vegas for cocaine possession, a shocking revelation for many fans who admired his music and persona. The arrest served as a pivotal moment in his life, prompting Mars to reflect on his choices and the pressures of fame. Describing the incident as a wake-up call, Mars recognized the need for change. He made a conscious effort to turn his life around, focusing on his music and personal growth. Since then, he has enjoyed an impressive resurgence, consistently dominating the charts with hits that showcase his exceptional talent and creativity. Today, Bruno Mars is not only a celebrated musician, but also an example of resilience and transformation. His legal troubles are firmly behind him, and he continues to inspire others by demonstrating that it is possible to overcome challenges and reclaim one's life, proving that even stars can learn from their past mistakes and shine brighter than ever. 5. Zack Efron. Zac Efron rose to prominence as the charming, clean-cut heartthrob in the High School Musical series, captivating audiences with his charisma and talent. However, the intense pressures of fame took a significant toll on the young star. Behind the scenes, Efron was secretly grappling with a cocaine and alcohol addiction, which ultimately led him to seek rehabilitation in 2013. In the aftermath of his struggles, Efron candidly admitted that he turned to drugs as a coping mechanism to handle the overwhelming demands of fame and a relentless filming schedule. Recognizing the need for change, he committed to his recovery and emerged from rehab with a renewed focus on his personal well-being. Since then, Zac Efron has remained sober and dedicated to evolving his career as a serious actor. He has taken on diverse roles in acclaimed films such as The Greatest Showman and Extremely Wicked, shockingly evil and vile, showcasing his range and depth as an actor. Efron's journey from a teen idol to a more mature performer serves as an inspiring testament to resilience and the importance of prioritizing mental health, proving that it's possible to overcome personal challenges and emerge stronger on the other side. 6. Mary-Kate Olsen. Mary-Kate Olsen, one half of the iconic Olsen twins, grew up under the relentless scrutiny of the public eye. As she transitioned into her late teens, rumors of drug addiction began to circulate, fueled by her highly visible lifestyle and the pressures that came with fame. In 2004, Olsen checked into rehab, a move that was largely reported as a response to an eating disorder. However, speculation about her struggles with substance abuse persisted, overshadowing her efforts to regain control of her life. Throughout her journey, Mary-Kate has maintained a relatively private demeanor, choosing to keep the details of her battles largely out of the spotlight. Nevertheless, her fight against addiction and her commitment to living a healthier, more balanced life remain significant aspects of her narrative. In the years since, Olsen has successfully transitioned into a respected businesswoman and fashion designer, channeling her experiences into her work while continuing to prioritize her well-being. Her story serves as a reminder of the complexities of growing up in the public eye and the challenges that can accompany fame, illustrating the importance of resilience and self-care in the face of adversity. 7. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan's story stands as one of Hollywood's most infamous narratives, marked by both incredible talent and profound personal struggles. Bursting onto the scene with standout performances in films like The Parent Trap and Mean Girls, Lohan initially appeared destined for a bright future in the entertainment industry. However, her promising career soon unraveled as she succumbed to the pressures of fame, leading to a tumultuous battle with alcohol and drug addiction. Lohan's struggles became highly publicized, with multiple arrests for DUI, drug possession, and probation violations, all of which played out in the tabloids and captured the public's attention. Despite her efforts to seek help through numerous stints in rehab, her attempts at a comeback have often been inconsistent, leaving fans and critics alike questioning her future in Hollywood. In recent years, Lohan has made strides toward sobriety, focusing on her well-being and personal growth. However, her journey remains a cautionary tale, illustrating the precarious intersection of fame and addiction. Her story serves as a reminder of the challenges that many young stars face in the limelight, highlighting the importance of support systems and the potential consequences of a life in the public eye. 8. Tila Tequila. Tila Tequila rose to fame in the mid-2000s as one of the first internet celebrities, gaining recognition for her unique blend of reality television and social media savvy. However, her life took a dark turn as she struggled with severe addiction to drugs and alcohol. By 2012, Tila faced a life-threatening crisis when she was hospitalized after a near-fatal overdose, a turning point that highlighted the depths of her addiction. In the years following her overdose, Tila's erratic behavior became increasingly alarming, with troubling social media posts that raised concerns among fans and loved ones about her mental health and overall well-being. This period of instability and distress led many to fear for her safety and future, as she seemed to spiral further away from the public persona that once captivated audiences. Since then, Tila Tequila has largely retreated from the spotlight, opting for a quieter life away from the public eye. Her story serves as one of the most extreme examples of how addiction can devastate a public figure's life, illuminating the hidden struggles that often accompany fame. Tila's journey underscores the importance of awareness and support for those battling addiction, reminding us of the fragile nature of celebrity and the profound impacts of substance abuse. 9. Haim. Haim was one of the most prominent teen idols of the 1980s, captivating audiences with his performances in films like The Lost Boys and Lucas. However, as he entered his 20s, Haim's promising career was overshadowed by a severe drug addiction that plagued him for most of his life.